You are watching the Fayetteville Government Channel. Up next, full coverage of the latest meeting of the Urban Forestry Advisory Board. The Urban Forestry Advisory Board is composed of citizen volunteers and meets on the second Wednesday of each month. The board advises the City Council on issues regarding urban forestry and green infrastructure, as well as wildland and urban development issues. And now, the Urban Forestry Advisory Board.
This is the beginning of the whole meeting probably of the Urban Forestry Advisory Board on July 11th, 2012. And according to our agenda, the first thing we want to do is welcome a new member and talk about, we have two new members, but we have one that's here with us today. Maybe, who wants to do that?
Well, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Megan Dale, the Urban Forester. Did you get an orientation?
I did. I got it just today, in fact.
Okay. I brought an extra copy, but so we have this is Malcolm.
Malcolm, say your name. Say your name for everybody.
Malcolm Lavoie.
Lavoie.
And Kathy Longard is also a new member. She's unable to attend today, so we have. I just want to go over the purpose and intent of the Urban Forestry Advisory Board. We come together once on the first Wednesday of every month, and we have second. Once a month, and then special meetings if the board needs to make business. We have a membership of 7 members, 1 representative from the land development, 1 representative from the tree service community, 1 from the University of Arkansas, and 4 citizens at large. And the duties of the board are to adopt and amend rules to govern conduct of business, and such shall be consistent with the provisions of Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. The Urban Forestry Advisory Board also advises the mayor, city councilor, and directors of department managing urban forestry program in issues related to urban forestry and arboriculture. They organize and administer ongoing programs of public education designed to increase public awareness and the urban forestry of the city of Fayetteville. They advise the urban forester on all city tree planting projects in the city rights of way and or medians. And they review and recommend revisions to the Unified Development Code, so the Tree Preservation Act and the Landscape Ordinance for the city of Fayetteville. They plan to administer the annual Arbor Day celebration, the celebration of trees, and they advise the urban forester on expenditures of the tree escrow fund, and they develop and administer a recognition program for individuals, businesses, institutions, or nonprofits who have demonstrated excellent efforts in tree preservation, protection, and tree plantings. And they also create an action to accomplish the objectives of the board. They're also in conjunction with the Firewise Advisory Board, which we have with us today, and so those
are the things we're supposed to be doing, accomplishing. And Malcolm, anyway, we can just say our names, but we'd like to hear a little bit about you if you don't mind. Would you guys mind telling us, Malcolm, who you are? You already said, at least for the camera as well, maybe. You're Henry.
I'm Henry Gaston. Yes.
Okay.
I got lost my focus.
I'm Lacey Nelson. And I'm Nancy Farvel, and there are 2 other members, I believe, at least that are not here. And Malcolm, you want to tell us anything about you that relates to why you're on this board or why you care about it?
Well, I was helping down there on the Frisco Trail, and some people suggested that I might want to join this board. And, I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea.
What's your background that makes you might be helpful on the board?
Well, I got my degree here in agronomy, and then worked on a master's in plant path, and I worked for USDA for a while on the Department of Agriculture out in Nevada. So.
Have you ever had to identify any plants?
Yeah, I sure did. I worked for several years down at Fort Chaffee, worked for the Corps of Engineers, and identifying plants was a big part of that job.
See, it's gonna be good, isn't he? I think. Anyway, I'm happy that you're here with us. I bet they are too. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is that the minutes, Derek sent us out the minutes, and we usually review the minutes before the meeting and try to decide if they said what we did. Did anybody have a chance to look at them and see what they thought about that last meeting? Lacey can't say because she
I was
wasn't.
gonna say, I'd like to help you. I read the minutes, but I
They didn't help you.
can't comment on
Henry,
the
did you get a
validity
chance
of
to
them.
see them?
I sure have.
Oops. Well, I didn't read them, and they did look accurate to me, if that's okay with everybody. Do you guys agree that we should accept the minutes as they were sent out? I believe they were accurate.
Fine, I'll second that.
Okay, just second it, I'll first it, and all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. And then, the 2012 tree escrow plans. Megan has been working on plans to plant some trees this fall, I think it's this fall, in some neighborhoods in Fayetteville that relate to our tree escrow fund. And today I think is a public hearing about those plans, isn't it?
Yes, so
Okay.
we have sent out flyers to residents that will be affected by the planting project. I've got 4 copies here, or I can do 3, maybe one that's on the table.
Is anybody in the public here on behalf of this tree plant escrow plan or interested in it? Okay, maybe he should have a copy of the one that relates to him, whichever one it might be.
So we have 4 sites that we're looking at. One near Mall. Just to give you an overview, the funds were received we're using funds from 2005 escrow, and that money is to be spent within the same area the money came from, or within a mile radius. So we've chosen areas near Mall Avenue, near Crossover, and Stone Mountain, and Mount Comfort Road that we will be spending that money.
Okay.
We are planting roughly 162 trees, and the areas, where's my go to the next? The second page goes over the species that we've chosen for each of the 4 areas that I just discussed. Mount Comfort has power lines on the north side, and so we've chosen 2 small species trees to work with that situation. And then a lot of these species were chosen from past lists that the board has approved, so at least we're in the ballpark of what you guys feel comfortable with in terms of approval. And then we've also called the nurseries to check availability. A lot of it does depend on availability, but
As far as you know, these will be available in those 4-inch calipers or whatever it is we
it's
need.
2-inch calipers.
2-inch calipers, okay.
Where'd you get your
I
funds,
don't
Nancy?
I know, that'd be double trouble, more than double.
Okay, and the final sheet that we have here, just points out the section of Mount Comfort that we will be, because that's where the majority of the tree plantings will be, because that's where the majority of the funds were from that area.
Okay.
And so we're trying to replace street trees that were taken out during when the road improvements were put in, and the sidewalks is kind of barren out there at the moment.
So
So
on both sides of the road then?
correct. And,
Is this a proper time for me to ask questions, or do you want?
sure, I guess yes.
Like how far apart are we gonna do these?
Typically, we're 30 foot on center, and in some cases it varies depending on if there's existing utility poles or driveways, and we want to make sure there's
What about sewer?
sewer line.
Sewer line crosses the road.
So we've looked at the GIS, and we've tried to adjust the trees spacing wise based on what the as-built drawings show, so that we're avoiding any conflicts there.
So I mean, you'll be like how far apart away from sewer line are you gonna be?
I would assume minimum 10 feet or
More than
30.
that, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we're skipping, it's not a continuous planting, it's, we're skipping these areas.
Right. So you're not concerned with tree roots getting in sewer line?
Not in this area.
You're mainly concerned when you're planting them right on top of a sewer.
I mean,
'Cause
tree roots tend to go toward moisture and.
Right.
And,
But it's the street trees have been planted around utilities everywhere, so it's not typically a concern.
We didn't get a chance to hear your name here.
I'm sorry.
I'm Rob Young, and I live on Mount Comfort here.
Okay.
And the city took out 7 of my trees, including 4 pine trees, like 60 feet tall,
Yep.
big pine trees.
Yes. When they made the road, or when? When did they do that?
Well, yeah, when they built this
Built this road.
road.
Can we show him or what will be near his house? Is there any, or near your area? Would you like to know what's going to be there by looking at this map? Or I don't know if she has specified what's going to be exactly where.
We haven't, so we just, at this point, just
Okay.
shown from the extents of the works. So, you're obviously within
Yeah,
the site. And, when we get outside, there'll be, you know, adjustments based on the field situations, but.
Right.
and-
And these will be between the sidewalk and the curb,
Correct,
and
so,
that little 6-foot strip.
yes, 6-foot strip continuous, so.
Okay.
Is there ample water? Do they have an automatic watering system? Probably not. That'd
No.
be expensive.
The reason we do have a maintenance contract, so those are watered during the,
I remember that.
yes.
We looked at these last month. Lacey, Megan showed them to us, and we all thought they looked like a good plan to us. So we're mainly here to hear if anybody in the public has any comments about it. Does this look like it'll be okay with you as far as we can manage? As
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some trees out there. It's just
barren
a
looking.
desert. You know?
Yes, and especially if this year's the first year that you are ordered trees with a maintenance contract for a couple of years, so they must perform and they replace them. Is that right, or something? Well, how does that work with the maintenance contract?
No, they don't replace them, but we try to replant in areas that we've lost trees with additional escrow funds.
Oh, okay, but they'll keep them watered.
But yes,
That's a good thing.
and mulched.
And mulched. Okay. So,
Well, for instance,
okay.
Mount Comfort gooseberry. What does that mean? I mean,
So on the north side of the.
I'm not understanding how that pertains.
Okay, we've broken down the plan into sections, and then those are the number of trees that we would propose on that section of the plan. So some of those are on the north side, and the larger species would be on the southern side.
Oh, I see. There's. Okay. Okay.
Do you have an idea of how many trees per lot, or was it sometimes?
I can check, see if I have anything on that.
Is at least 1 tree per lot, I think we were aiming for. But in order for it to be a consistent street tree alignment, some lots may get more than one.
Right.
So it looks sort of like a boulevard at some point, tree-lined boulevard with trees along the sides. Sounds like.
Of course, you know, you'd be planting in just rocks and debris from building a road.
Right.
I mean, it's really, there is no grass
No.
in the whole right-of-way that the city did, but down to there, they took out, the construction company planted a winter grass, right? Well, there's no Bermuda, no fescue, it's nothing but weeds, literally. And if you've ever walked down there, look, so I mean, it's just look pitiful.
I don't know if you're the tree person, I don't know if you're related to what happens on the ground along a place like that.
No, a lot of times we get left out of what transportation or engineering's planning, but we hope to get on board in advance, so that's part of their budget, so that they account and include street trees and.
They don't usually leave places barren for a long time, I don't think. I think they usually come along
Because
and.
there's soil erosion concerns.
There's a question in the back.
Yeah, Oliver Shepherd. I think that is a concern that you just brought up. So that traditionally, the contractors, and possibly even city workers, when they create these spaces, put gravel or something hard, limestone gravel, which I just witnessed down the street, 2 blocks. A policeman had stopped a trailer, a man pulling a trailer with limestone gravel just out on it, and it's falling off the trailer, and he has to get it tarped before he can leave. But that just happened to go with this. But that material is not helpful to plants, and it's used as base material when they pave. But it should not be in those spaces where you're going to plant a tree or expect to have grass or flowers. We see it all over town, and it's still being done. I've heard others criticize it, but it's something the committee could look into, I think, and be a little project to figure out why they don't put in natural soil deep enough for things to grow.
But there surely is something specified in the construction contracts that they have to leave the planting areas as planting areas and not have it be contaminated too much by the building materials. Does anybody know if that is specified in the construction contracts?
In the landscape code, we call for amended soils and planting beds,
But as far as the rest of the soil that's in the islands, we don't know how that works, huh?
I don't know that that's specified. I haven't looked at that.
Now, there's something specified that they're supposed to put down topsoil,
I would think so,
but guess what? It's about
that much.
that much, and it's full of weeds, in our case. And then they come in and plant, they're supposed to plant grass, right? Well, they planted a winter grass, as I said.
All right, people do that typically.
Which was just great during the winter that they planted it.
Yeah.
Well, last year, guess what? We had a hot summer and dry, and all of that died off, and now it's full of just, weeds I've never seen before. And I've lived out there 35 years.
Is it the transportation department that oversees? I know it's Fayetteville crews that build those these days. We don't actually contract it out anymore a lot of times.
I think that one was contracted out. Mount Comfort was, and
Sweetser.
yeah, it wasn't built in house. We weren't.
You don't have
engineering department is
your
over
parks, I know,
that
and their engineering or something.
section of.
It'd be worth a
projects.
call just to find out if they do specify and if it's who checks it, who's the code, or who the people are that come out and enforce that, just to see if they actually pay much attention to that. They love it, but I'll.
Well, they don't. I've been back to the engineers and talked to them.
And they what?
The city engineers, right?
And what? And what did you discover? What did you learn?
Big smile, and we'll look into it. And I spoke with the mayor over here Saturday mornings at the square, and I get the big smile, and we'll look into it. But there's nobody has ever come back and looked, and it's been, 2 years now? Year and a half, something like that. So, I know
it would be good
this is forestry, and I'm venting, but anyway.
No, but we are supposed to care about anything green growing from up to here, and so we really are supposed to care about it.
Well, we're trying to make Fayetteville beautiful,
Yes,
and make
we
these
are.
nice entrances, and there
Yes,
you
we
got
are.
a 4-lane road out there that's just
Barren.
ugly.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all drive down and look at it.
Yes.
Get out and walk. Get on the sidewalk and look at it. and
Well,
see
I
how
appreciate
bad-
your interest in this and be coming here to tell us this because it's something we need to hear. That's what we empathize with you. We want the same things you do.
Well, that was one reason why we chose this spot, because we wanted to, provide shade for the sidewalks
Right.
and
What
wanted
needs
to
to
make it a usable space for the residents. So we're looking forward to it.
Yes, it should be much nicer. Thank you very much for coming.
You bet.
I will call engineering, just my little itty bit. It won't do any good,
Good
but
luck.
it's worth a try. Okay,
So
the next,
I think that's all I have on
Sorry,
this.
Megan.
Do you guys want to?
we have to approve it now, don't we?
Yes.
Since the public has spoken, is that okay for us? You guys, does anybody want to move it? Megan, we can go ahead, the city can go ahead with our planting plans for the tree escrow fund plants this year, trees?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve them as they are.
You think that sounds like a good idea?
Yes.
You second the motion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pass. And then we have on the menu here, on the agenda, celebration of trees preliminary planning.
All right.
Oh.
So that's me again. Just to let you know, back to the escrow, we'll be preparing the bid and spec documents, and then that'll be going out to bid this next month, I believe, and so we can get everything underway because it needs to be planted October, November.
Subject.
I'll have an update for you guys next month. Okay, for celebration of trees, the budget is roughly $9,000, which will provide us 1,000 to 1,200 trees to give away. And we, as a board, will need to prepare a plant palette. We as a city will prepare you a plant palette probably next month, and then you as a UFAB board will approve that based on availability of the nurseries.
A pallet, is that?
Tree selection of species
Okay.
that we'll give away. And what we do need to decide today is, or maybe not decide, but discuss potential dates. We recommend the 13th of October because that is the fire department's pancake breakfast. And that's a good way to start people and then have them motor on through the square. And, but also just to give you some other potential dates, the 6th of October is an Auburn away football game. The 13th is a Kentucky home game. The 21st of October, there is no game. The 27th is an Ole Miss game in Little Rock. And the 3rd of November is homecoming.
But you handle that. We don't have to use our much phones and figure that out this time. That's
Okay.
good.
So yes, the pancake breakfast is at a home game, so that's also
Tentatively.
tentatively.
Yeah.
The tentative.
Tends to happen on the
Second Saturday of October.
Okay.
Should be.
Does that sound good for everybody, as far as I'm concerned? I don't know much that far out myself about my life, so I have no idea, but so we can put it down tentatively.
Okay.
Can we say anything about, or is this time to say anything about shrubs versus trees, or and trees for that palette?
Sure, go discuss.
I mean, but did you have a plan or a thought in mind yourself about that? Whether we should do shrubs or trees?
I think we've done
and-
some shrubs in the past. I'm not familiar, but do people want to start bringing more shrubs into the palette, or?
Well, we definitely want some shrubs.
People
so
planted
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do you
think so.
I see.
Yeah.
And I think some others, let's see, I think we heard a little bit of feedback. I mean, at least people I've come across in town have said that they appreciate the shrubs at least as much as the trees. I know we're a tree committee, sort of, and it's a celebration of trees. But you have an opinion, either of the other members that are here, about whether you'd like there to be some native shrubs, by the way, along with the trees that were offered that day? You think that's a good idea, Henry?
I think so.
No?
Yeah. Shrubs are just small trees.
And we need the understory taken care of as well as the tall story or whatever, upper story. So, and we didn't specify native, but last year we specified native. You guys wanted to try to do mostly native things this year again?
I thought they'd always been native trees.
Have they?
They at least aim for.
Mm-hmm. I think we, at least the past 4 or 5 years, we've always aimed for native.
See, I didn't know. I haven't been here that long, so that's great.
And last year we got kind of spoiled because we had so many extra plants from Lisa,
Oh, that's true.
all
that's
those
right.
shrubs.
Yes,
So we
people
may
are-
not have as many shrubs as we
Well,
did
she
last
grew
year.
those shrubs, so we'll have to find some to purchase if we
Mhm.
can, because she grew a bunch of extra shrubs.
Okay.
All right.
So
Dates. Date?
and shrubs. We'll look into adding shrubs soon.
Okay, great.
And I'll
Sounds
bring
good.
that
Thank you.
list next month.
Okay. Oh, and maybe we should, we're on an agenda right now, but did you come to talk about what was it? Already I forgot, tree escrow plans that we just had a public hearing about?
Oh, it sounds that way, yeah.
I'm sorry?
I guess that's what I came here for. They said they were going to plant some trees in my yard, and I was just
Oh,
curious.
you guys mind if we go back up the agenda and let him say what he needs to say or wants to say?
Well, I was just curious about how it's going to work.
Oh.
As far as we are making a selection of the placement of those trees, and
Which area are you near? And we have about 4 areas we're
I
going
don't
to
know
be
West
putting
Mount Comfort Road.
West Mount Comfort, that's, another person came from that same concern. And here's a picture of West Mount Comfort now.
so we'll have a variety of tree species that'll be planted in the area, and then those plantings will happen once the weather cools off in October or November. So we'll send out another announcement before they come and do the digging.
And the varieties they plan to plant are right above here. And there's areas mentioned, I don't know which area you're in, but it kind of tells you how many or which are going to be in each area.
Thank you.
Did you want to give us some advice or thoughts on the subject?
Oh, no, I was here solely just to get information. I know nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, could we have your name for the record, by the way?
Well, I'm Charles Summerhill.
Charles. Okay, thank you. Okay, then we're going on with our agenda. We're down to application approval for urban and community forestry grant. Allison's going to tell us about that.
Yes, ma'am.
She's our parks planner. Is that right?
Yeah. I wanted to let you guys know about a grant opportunity that's available and hopefully get your blessing on it. It's a grant from the Arkansas Forestry Commission. It's a small grant. It has a maximum of $7,500 and is geared towards low impact development improvements on public property, and specifically for parking areas or streetscapes that help cool the area, help infiltrate stormwater. So all of those low impact development techniques that most of you have heard of. And it's a 50-50 matching grant. Like I said, the maximum is $7,500. There are several points that they evaluate the grant applications on, and I'll go over those really quickly. Well, I think I will. Here we go. Nope, that's not it either. I'm so sorry. I thought I had it right in front of me. It's really strange. Oh, here we go. Parking lot improvements for stormwater runoff is one example. Tree-friendly streets and restoring open.
Tree-friendly streets?
Mm-hmm. So
that means?
This specifically says incorporating bioswales with trees between streets and sidewalks, or designing tree planting areas that allow for green space and canopy growth.
Okay.
And then also the third one is open space, which they have described as restoring streamside buffers, installing stormwater treatment parks designed to filter stormwater from surrounding public streets. So the project that we are applying for is actually the city lot right across from City Hall on Mountain and Church, and it's right behind, what is that, Block Street?
Is that a parking lot there?
It's a city-owned parking lot.
KWA is back there.
It's all
KWA is right there. And there are several, I think there were about 12 to 15 trees there now that have been slowly dying. They look really horrible. And they're planted in small, like 6x6 spaces. I think probably the area just right below them was cut out, the trees were planted in there. But the proposal is to cut out a continuous tree lawn from block to block, basically from mountain to center, 8 foot wide, between the parking bays, make it a depressed bioswale, and replant trees so that they would have that entire lawn for tree root growth, and then we would be meeting the objectives of LID, parking lot improvements, stormwater infiltration,
all those things.
All those things. And so the match will actually be in kind. City will be working with Transportation Division, Parks Division, and Parking to meet our side of the match to do some of the work in-house.
So it sounds like almost a done deal. You'll be competing with others for the grant money, probably.
What's that?
You'll be competing with other cities.
We will
for the
be
grant
competing,
money?
yeah. And they have, we're basically graded on program improvement. So what we're doing to improve our urban forestry program here, the type of project it is, if it's consistent with the low impact development, best management practices, local community support, which is why I wanted to bring it here because you guys are, part of the community, and just overall grant preparation, and also how it ties in with Tree City USA, which we are a member of, and we meet those objectives every year. So I think we have a pretty good shot at it, really, because we're hitting on all the points that they're asking for. So. But just wanted to, run it past you guys and see if that was a good project to apply for and fit the goals, and hopefully get your support.
What does that sound like to everybody?
Really good.
That sounds good. Henry? You think?
He likes fair parking lots.
Oh, yeah. All this time, he was holding out on us. Okay, so I hear a motion that we approve and recommend that they follow through on applying for this grant. Anybody?
I mean, yeah, okay, I'll make do you need a motion on that?
I
Okay,
think-
I'll make a motion that we go forward with that.
Formally approve it. What do you think?
Second.
All right. Then all in favor that we do this, say aye. And all opposed, say no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then the sixth item on our agenda was a debriefing of our award contest and competition. And one of the judges might have had thought a little bit about being here, and I don't know. I got a little bit of feedback over by email from 2 or 3 of the participants in the contest. And so I see quite a long bit of feedback we got from Kurt, one of the judges. Did any of you didn't get a chance to hear the feedback because you really weren't involved too much in the judging and hearing how it all came out, I guess. So does that mean I have to say a few things? I guess sort of scary. Let's see. 2 or 3 of the people, residential people, talked about that they thought some things were missed on their properties, that people didn't see the water baths or bird baths, and then they got rated 0 for having bird baths on their property. And some said the judges missed some native species, and that doesn't say anything about the judges at all. It just says that maybe we need to do a little different training or a little bit more procedure at the properties. Maybe when we meet with the people, ask them to point out, as we're looking at various categories on the rubric, we point these out to me, kind of thing. Do you think that would be a good thing to write down as a suggestion for next year? I mean, we need to, well, I thought we'd keep some notes in our book for next year to think about or even make some decisions about it.
It might also have been helpful if the owners were there with the judges
Yes.
each time
Yes.
when they get nominated, that they know that they need to be available at some point.
I heard that was one complaint by one of the judges, that they tried to get with one owner, and she would only say one particular time out of many, many times. And it was really inconvenient to the judges. They had other plans, but they did it anyway. So maybe they have to know on the form that they are agreeing to meet with the judges at a time convenient to both the judges and themselves. That might be something we can remember. Derek, are you writing these down? Okay, good. I don't know where we're going to keep this record, but I could be writing it. Okay.
I don't know how, I mean, as we get more applicants or something for something like this, or more nominations, I guess I should say, it could be really time consuming for the judges to go by and like meet. I mean, I can see the advantages for meeting with the homeowner or the business owner or whatever, but I don't know, we might want to take time into consideration, because if you have to meet with them and they want to tell you how they, how they put in all these trees, I don't know, it just seems like it could get really time consuming. So I don't, we may want to just think about that.
You're absolutely right, because some of the judges did say that it took a lot more time than they expected, and they actually had told some of the owners, I'll have one comment here, that they talked with the owners quite a bit about that was taking a lot of their time. So
Okay.
So that is a good comment. I don't know exactly what to do differently. I'm just
I
bringing
don't
up
know either, yeah, I was just,
bringing up the
pointing out, yeah.
Everybody has their side of it, that they don't have a lot of time to see every single thing. And we don't know if they'll have more or fewer. I don't know if the people that enter this year will enter next year, or if we've lost them all. We have to recruit a whole bunch of other entrances, or what?
I mean, maybe we could be sure that the things on the rubric are like visible things, something that, we don't have to ask them if they put in certain water or how they, maybe things should just all be visible, or, but that also takes away from some of the specifications that we were looking for sustainability and everything. But, I don't know.
Maybe just a little more training of the judges up front to be sure, and just look for certain things.
Yeah.
Like if it says water on this rubric, look to be sure you've checked for water, that kind of thing. Maybe that would be the part of it, I think. Okay, let's see if I can see anything from Kurt's notes that we might, he had a lot of great comments. Let's see. He said he thought the rubric is insufficient from comparing large versus small spaces, and he had some really good points. For example, he had to compare one huge apartment complex that had many trees and many other features to a tiny little place that's so beautifully done. I'm not going to say any names, but well watered and carefully landscaped, and probably had some native things. it had absolutely no room for a tree. He mentioned that in his comment. How am I gonna judge them on, and why should I take points off? Don't give them a 4 for trees. They had no trees, so there they lost 12 points just like that because they had no, there were 3 categories that related to trees on that. And I really don't know how to make a rubric that takes into account people that don't have trees versus people who do, and large versus small. Those things are hard to figure out. And let's see if they had any other. He wondered what native meant more specifically, whether it was native to the country, native to the Arkansas, native to locally. That might be something, if we were asking for native, we might want to say a little more specifically. Although I really hate for the judges to have to start thinking about, you know, where is this native, and is it native to Arkansas?
Yeah.
That would be really hard and almost nitpicky. I think if they just knew native in general to general. I mean, do you have any ideas, Malcolm? I don't mean to be making all the comments.
No, you know, that's a good question. I don't know.
It's hard to, but at least, I guess, just leaving the native in there and hoping, now use their common sense that if it supports wildlife and supports, the reason we want native is for those reasons, and if it does those things, maybe we could be more general in what it does rather than using the term native, sustainable or something like that.
Sure, and some native to Arkansas still will grow up here in northwest Arkansas.
Right. And also on a whole other subject, which we'll get to one of these days, whether we should be even advocating native plants anymore if our climate's changing. Maybe things from farther south are moving up here and they are not going to be native from Arkansas, or we'll be needing them whether we like them or not. But anyway, let's see, what else did he say? Okay, I think he had many more comments, but they're not things we can probably sift out right here in this meeting. But the rubric itself, I wanted to sometime work on more, but I really know we have a lot of things going on in our agenda today. That tree thing is of concern to me. How you give people credit for having trees without giving people uncredit for not having trees. It's hard. We'll have to think about that. At least put it in the notes to think about it for next year, unless someone has an idea right now. And some of these things talk about things that some people could not. If they have no history or significance of the site, then you can't give them 1 to 4 that they complement the history or design or the significance of the site. In other words, how can you give someone 4? If they just have a plain flat site, it has no significance and has no history, they probably get a 0, and that's not their fault. I mean, I don't know if that rubric should be in there. I don't think people should be docked 0 for not meeting. There's some things in there that we need to look at maybe next time. Because when we designed this, we just grabbed a lot of categories of winners and put them out here hoping one person could meet all those requirements, and it may not be fair to put them in those situations. So, shall we say any more about that, or leave it, or keep that ball on until next year, and then have a specific meeting trying to make more specific? Any ideas on that?
We'll make the minutes of the comments, and we'll save the emails as well. And I think next year, when the rubric's recreated or when the board's planning it, we can
get more detailed and figure it out. That somebody can do it. Okay. Then that should be. Is there anything else? Oh, and this is a debriefing about that contest. Does anybody have any comments in general about how they think it went, or whether anything they want to say about it? Audrey?
Well, this is slightly different. It's a request that you share and make nominations, and some of them from the same group of people that you've considered already that may not have been considered. Because Council of Neighborhoods has failed for 3 years to give its Beauty Mark Award. And every year we say we're going to get it done this year. We did it several years in a row in the past. And it was discussed that because you guys have completed yours, you might want to make nominations to Council of Neighborhoods. And there'll be a form Judy McQuaid has to do that. And some of you judged or have some other people in mind, but it could be some of the same people that didn't get an award in your contest and would be qualified. You made great selections, of course.
Oh, we have a list, by the way, of all the participants. I don't know it's fair to share a list. They might have given us those information without thinking we were gonna share that information, but if you,
Well,
but
we
they,
didn't
I
want
don't know
their
what,
secret to.
yeah, I don't know
That's
exactly what
we're
should be done
saying,
with that.
just Suggestions for
Yeah.
people that might
Okay,
qualify.
okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I thought of another thing, to see what was in, oh, you go ahead, Alice, and tell us something.
I was just gonna say, good job. I think you guys did a fabulous job with that program. I was excited to see it happen.
Good, good. I was proud of us too.
Mm-hmm.
We have to know, we hope we can do as well or better next year and publicize it as well or better than we did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know what else I was gonna say about the form, the rubric form. Nominations, I mean, I know what the entry form. I don't think that we should have a line there that nominates people because I think they should feel like, don't have to feel like you're nominated. If you feel like entering it, you should just fill out a form and enter it. Don't feel like you have to find someone to nominate you or nominate yourself. Either one of those things doesn't feel comfortable. So if you think you have a property that's worthy of being considered, just sign up. Let us check it out. Do you think that's a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
That nomination thing was embarrassing after a while because if I went to 13 places and put my name down on 13 places, that didn't look too good. I mean, you'd think that I was nominating anybody that wanted to go and be in it, so I was good. But they should nominate themselves. They shouldn't have us do it, perhaps. Okay, I don't know anything else more on that subject.
I'm not sure, I guess I'll just say one.
Sure.
Thing. I'm not sure we should be nominating people.
Good point.
I don't know if that's, I don't know what you guys think about that, but,
Yeah.
and we're not judging it, so I guess it's not biased. But, I don't know.
But I don't think we should, I mean, nominating sounds like you're actually advocating that they be
Yeah,
in the
so maybe it
contest.
should just be an entry form, like you're saying.
Yeah, but what if we find people, what if we need to find people to join the contest? Is it all right for us to take the form out and get people to sign up?
Yeah, I would think,
Okay.
I think that's fine.
I think it was a matter of, you promoting the contest.
Yes, I was just trying to make it happen somehow or other, so I wasn't actually saying I think that's a good one and that's not a good one and that's a good one or anything like that. Just trying to get people to join, to enter it.
Mm-hmm.
So next year we'll maybe get more people, different people, all people joining involved. Okay, then other business and announcements about, we're still in the Urban Forestry Advisory Board meeting. Any other thoughts or subjects that anybody wants to bring up today? I thought of two. I just wanted to say that I saw Megan, I get the feed from the city of Fayetteville, and some of you may too, on our email, and Megan wrote a really wonderful article about how to watch out for drought trees and what to do about them. And I really think the paper should pick that up. I think they maybe made a story out of it, but did they ever publish your information that you put out?
Well, I would like to say,
It was a publicity.
Derek helped write that because this is his, that's the reason why we,
Oh, to write
have
things,
this
communications.
position is that for promotion of advocacy of urban forestry. So he's doing a great job getting the word out there.
Yeah, but I wish the paper had done more with that because it was really good information that.
Yeah.
The news article that was in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette this morning was separate, but we did send that off to be distributed
Yeah.
as a press release.
Lindsley sent it out, Community Link, and some other city places. So,
Huh. But it really should be, I think, of some concern. I bet lots of citizens care about that right now, and they would like the information coming from their city to tell them what to do. So I hope we can find a way to get that information out to a lot of people. Audrey?
One thing more, I listened on City Chapel, Government Channel last night, and Megan made a presentation to the council agenda session. So they will be voting on the new, or discussing in full council next Tuesday night, I believe.
Yes.
So would you summarize that for the public that may not have heard
Sure.
it before? I didn't hear all of it.
We are bringing an agenda item to the city council to amend chapter 167 and 177 to actually put a price in for maintenance. Right now, anytime there's mitigation or tree escrow, we have a price of $250 for a tree, but there's no price for maintenance. And city council voted that there needs to be a price for maintenance. There needs to be money allotted for maintenance, but there was never a price.
Okay.
So we put a bid out for our 3-year maintenance contract of our escrow trees. And the city council approved that, so we're recommending that they use that number because that's how much it does cost the city for the trees, and that way it's a fair figure.
Are you supposed, are things like that supposed to be brought to this board before they're taken to the city council? Any changes to the ones?
I think that was, we talked about this
That was.
way back.
The price thing?
Well, we, yeah, I think we even talked about the price when the 3-year maintenance contract came out. We gave an update on that.
remembering that too, yeah.
We could go back through the minutes, but yes, typically things that affect those ordinances do come through you guys.
Good.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. If that sounds good then, so you've accomplished that to get more
I think
recognition.
there were a lot of steps it took, you know.
It's taken a year because we started working on some of these updates when Greg was here. So it's been spanned
Yes.
a couple of years.
And sometime that, talking about the ordinances, we were going to try to get something in there about, how we could use our tree escrow funds to grow our own trees. Get that changed. How in the world did we ever
Yes.
get that changed?
Yeah,
That's how we.
that's a discussion that, yeah, I think we need to have with city attorney.
Is that, but, okay.
I mean, as far as what those funds are used for.
No, I think you said we needed to change the ordinance because the way he interprets it right now, we cannot use tree escrow funds to grow our own trees.
Correct.
But possibly if we change some wording in the ordinance, we would be able to.
Right.
So if we knew what those words were, we might approve them, or something like that. Okay, and the only other thing I want to say is that tomorrow night at 5:30 in the boardroom of the City Fayetteville Public Library, we're having our PowerPoint presentation about invasive plants in Fayetteville, and that PowerPoint that we gave to that our group approved. We're going to give the PowerPoint presentation, and I've done an email list of people that have shown an interest, invited people to come that might want to give that PowerPoint presentation to other groups, and also inviting people to come and brainstorm what groups to give them to, and also to come and volunteer to say, I'll contact that group and I'll set up a time for you to give that presentation. So I think Don Steinkraus will be there, and Raleigh Freese, and some others that are interested in this subject, and some other people that have been working on the Frisco Trail maybe. I mean, I don't know who's going to be there. Maybe it'll be 3 people or 16 people. Malcolm probably plans to be there, I hope.
So,
And we'll try to get a little education program going out, getting people educated about invasive plants and what to replace them with, native plants. But I will say that I've been extremely disheartened this summer, wondering if even native plants are the answer. But I called Don Steinkraus and Raleigh, and they both still think it is. So people who have experience with them think it is. So I guess we'll push forward with our effort here to continue. It's a hot time of year for anybody to even think about planting and pulling plants. But maybe our actual presentations will happen in the fall when people can be more cheerful on the subjects, people like me. Okay? So come there tomorrow if you want to and can at 5:30. It'll only take an hour or two to do this thing, probably an hour, to see the presentation, talk about it, and brainstorm who we're going to give it to. That'd be great. Anybody that can come, I hope you'll come there. Be there. And that's all. Does anybody else have anything else to say for our Urban Forestry Advisory Board meeting tonight? This evening? If not, do I hear a motion that we adjourn? Want to stay?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Anybody else? Malcolm seconds it. Then all in favor say aye, aye, and we'll be adjourned.